Okay, guys, on this night I was making sliders. I'm making them two ways. I have deli roast beef and I also have deli turkey. So for the roast beef, I'm gonna make it kind of like a Philly cheesesteak type slider. So I have here a green pepper, an onion, and then I'm also going to be adding some jalapeno. So I'm gonna get these diced up and we're gonna get them sauteed and ready to go on the sliders. This is a little gadget I got a couple years ago. It's a pepper core and it's perfect for jalapenos. If you guys like making poppers or even just for slicing jalapenos, it takes a lot of the work out of it. It's great. I recommend it. Now I've sliced up my onion and I cut it pretty thin, thinner than I would if I was making like a real Philly cheesesteak with real steak. But since we're using deli roast beef and it's a thinner meat and not really a steak sandwich, I wanted it kind of thin. So I'm going to do the same thing with my peppers and we're going to saute these up. In my pan, I just have some vegetable oil that I've heated up. I'm going to start by adding the green peppers and then I'm going to put in the jalapenos. I'm going to wait a little bit on the onion because since they are sliced so thin, they're going to cook really quickly. And I don't want them to be too soggy. I want everything to have a little bit of still a crunch to it. I don't want the vegetables to be that soggy because they are going to go in the oven with the sliders. So we'll get the peppers a little bit tender and then we'll throw in our onion. The peppers were cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes. They looked pretty good to me. Now I'm adding in my onions. I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're just going to let this cook down a little bit more. These have been cooking for about 5 or 6 minutes on a low heat. This is exactly how I want them. I don't want the peppers or the onions browned. So I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to get these on a paper towel to drain them, and we're going to start putting together our sliders. Here's everything we're going to be using for the sliders. I have the turkey and the roast beef. I have 12 slider rolls. They were on sale at my grocery store's bake shop, so I grabbed those instead of the Hawaiian rolls, which is what I would normally use. But these were on sale and they're still good within the date. I have sriracha and ranch. That's going to go on the turkey along with mild cheddar cheese slices. For the roast beef, I'm using mozzarella. And I had a little bit extra sharp cheddar cheese, just a little bit left in a bag. So I'm going to throw that on the turkey as well before I start putting on the slices. Then we also have our peppers and onions that we've cooked up and drained. So now it's time to put this all together. Back there I have my glass pan and I've split the rolls and I did spray the pan so that they wouldn't stick. I added some ranch dressing. I'm adding some sriracha and I'm going to give that a stir and we're going to put it on one half and that's going to be for the turkey sliders. I'm just spreading a thin layer of the ranch dressing with the sriracha on the bottom. I'm going to start layering the cheese slices. Then I'll put on the turkey and top it with more cheese. I did want to get rid of that extra shredded cheddar cheese I took out, but you'll see I forgot to do that, but that's fine. So now it's on to the roast beef. When I started making the roast beef ones, I had planned on doing it the same way as I did the turkey, just one layer. But then I looked at all the peppers and onions I made, and I made a lot, and I didn't want them to go to waste. So I ended up putting the cheese on the bottom. I did the roast beef, I did the peppers. Then I went on to put more cheese, more peppers, more roast beef. It was a much bigger sandwich, but it turned out okay. So I put the top on it, and then I ended up making a garlic butter sauce that I brushed it with, and we put it into the oven. I just ended up using whatever butter was left on my butter dish. I think it was a little more than half a stick I melted. I put in a good amount of garlic powder, put it into a 350 oven for just about 25 minutes, and you can see how much bigger that beef one was. But it came out really good, even though they were pretty different in size. And I just ended up throwing frozen French fries in the air fryer, and I had two of the beef and one of the turkey. It was really good and just another simple, easy weeknight meal. On this night, I had a taste for tacos, but I didn't really want just plain old tacos. I decided to make a beef and bean enchilada casserole. In this pan, I have 2 pounds of ground meat and one small diced onion that I've cooked up. I added 2 packs of the hot taco seasoning since I am using 2 pounds of ground meat. I also heated up a small can of refried beans. I let the meat cook down, and then I got my casserole pan ready. I have some green sauce in the bottom of a 9 by 13 pan. Here I'm just adding half of the beef mixture. I ended up freezing the rest. If you watch my videos, you know that I like to cook extra ground meat because we do have tacos pretty often. Once I had that in the bowl, I added about half of the refried beans and got that all mixed together, and then it was time to assemble the casserole. This is the green salsa I used. I had never tried this one from Trader Joe's. It was really good. I would definitely buy that one again. Now I'm just adding my tortillas to the bottom of my pan. I had pretty large tortillas. I placed 2 on the bottom. I overlapped them because I want the whole bottom of the pan to be covered. Then I just took one more. I ripped it in half and placed it on the sides there. Then it was time to start layering the meat and the beans. Once I had the meat and the beans on, you can see I have 2 types of cheese back there. I'm starting with the sharp cheddar. I used whatever I had left in this bag. I did end up using probably half of the other bag. After I had all of the cheddar cheese on, I then took the tortillas and did the same thing on the top, and I covered it with more green sauce. For the top layer of cheese, I decided to use this queso quesadilla cheese that I found. It ended up being really good. I covered that all with that cheese and I popped it into a 325 oven and I cooked it for 30 minutes. Here's how it looked when it came out. It was really good. We ended up having leftovers of this, and we also had plenty left of the meat and bean mixture the next day. So I ended up making some quesadillas, and I'm going to show you how I made my quesadillas the next day. For my lunch the next day, I just grabbed a couple tortillas. I put some of that queso cheese on the bottom. I topped it with the meat and cheese mixture, some diced jalapeno peppers. I had some lettuce and some green onions. I put some red hot sauce, and then I topped it with some of the cheddar cheese. Put the other tortilla on top, and I just threw it in a pan that had a little bit of oil in there and gave it a good flip. I let it heat through, and that was it. That was lunch. Tonight's another super easy one. We're having pepper and egg sandwiches on French bread. This is something I grew up eating at home and also at hot dog and beef stands. It's very popular here, especially during the Lent season in Chicago. I'm wondering, do you guys have this in your area of the country? I don't know if it's just really popular here. So I just fried up my peppers with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I'm adding 5 eggs to my pan, and I've drained my peppers really well. I'm going to throw those in there, give them a good scramble, and then it's time to serve them up. I have a loaf of French bread I bought at the grocery store. You can serve them on any type of bread that you want, or you can just eat it as is, just scrambled eggs with peppers. But that's it. Super easy week, you guys. I served it up again with frozen French fries. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. And thanks again for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.